Hello everyone, this is the Paladin speaking. Today we're diving into the world of vampires in the Blood of Dawnwalker. We'll talk about their society, their powers, how they spread their curse, and I'll introduce you to the four main vampire lords: Brencis, Bakir, Xanthe, and Ambrus. Let's jump in. Rebel Wolves frames the game as a dark fantasy, medieval European world where a vampire aristocracy has seized power. Vampires are not background monsters. They are rulers, political players, and culture-forming elites who impose a blood tax on humans and restructure society around their needs. These vampires are political actors, enforcers and governors of regions, not anonymous predators. Expect court politics, patronage, and social hierarchies that are explicitly vampiric. From developer posts and community bulletins, the vampires form a ruling aristocratic court, often centered on castles, with clear social roles: ancient lords, recently converted nobles, and enforcers. Bandai Namco's game pages and the official gameplay recap show the castle of the main antagonist and reference the vampiric masters, indicating a formalized ruling structure rather than loose packs. Additional community notes describe vampires as politically savvy and socially performative, charming, deceptive, and invested in status and spectacle. That's part of their cultural power. They use ceremonies, tax systems, and selective mercy to keep humans compliant. Official dev Q&A and feature coverage explain two important things. The game's systems tie vampiric abilities to in-world interactions, notably draining other vampires to gain their powers. In short, to expand your vampire toolkit, you find and feed from other vampires and learn abilities from tomes or teachers. This is an intended, explicit mechanic in progression. Also, Rebel Wolves in official posts note that vampire blood is potent. In some contexts, it can cure disease or grant powerful benefits in measured doses, but in larger doses, it amplifies vampiric traits. This creates moral dilemmas in a plague-ridden world where vampires both prey on and medically affect humans. So turning is both biological and political. Vampires can convert or dominate humans, yet vampirism is also a resource and a set of teachable abilities the player can acquire. Official gameplay footage and the dev recap show several recurring vampiric traits, such as rooftop traversal, gliding or high jumps, and predator movement at night, attacks with claws, blood-based spells or whips, and ranged blood attacks. Regenerative or curative properties of vampire blood in small doses, with darker consequences in large doses. Also, some vampires appear to use charisma, deception, and psychological control as part of their rule, as implied in dev interviews and community posts. Rebel Wolves published trailers, and some comments online include Bakir and mention werewolves, indicating that the world includes allied or antagonistic supernatural creatures beyond classic vampires. Werewolves seem tied to certain characters as a faction or force that the vampires either use or suppress. So expect cross-species political dynamics. You can also see in this clip a kind of horned humanoid. So expect other supernatural creatures beyond vampires. It also appears to have different types of turned humans and creatures, like this sickly-looking monster that seems like a form of a ghoul or a lower vampire. You can also see this automaton that could have been created by an ability from one of the elite vampires or by employing a skilled human and infusing it with some form of vampire magic to give it life. They could be the daytime guardians of the vampires, because we see Cohen fighting them mostly during the day. What about the vampire lords? So far, the main four are Brencis, the ancient ruler, born in the Roman Empire under the name Caeso Burenus Laurentius AD 131, to a noble family who owned massive latifundia. Brencis was destined for greatness. He joined the rank of senators and quickly rose to the top of Roman officialdom with ambitions to become the next consul. He was on the right track to make it happen before being turned into a vampire. In a blink of an eye, he fell from the very top of the social ladder to its very bottom, but his hunger for power remained. Bakir, the violent steppe warlord turned vampire. Some men just want to see the world burn, and Bakir is one of them. As human, he spent decades galloping across the dry steppes of Central Asia, burning, trampling, and pillaging as he went. He thirsted for blood even before he was turned. For centuries, he hid in the shadows and resented it. Bakir likes being the center of attention. He wants people to know his name and tremble as they hear it. He is associated with the Mongolian Empire in the game's lore. Xanthe, the ancient priestess vampire. Xanthe is old, older than seems possible. She was a priestess once, on a remote Greek island, the name of which she has since forgotten. Her body bears witness to the ravages of time, as does her mind. Hearing voices from beyond the pale, muttering under her breath, at first glance, she might seem insane. The truth couldn't be more different. She understands the true nature of the world better than anyone, and deep down, she's terrified. Ambrus, the newly turned youth with ambition. It's only recently that Ambrus has been turned. And so, he's got something to prove. Ambitious and thrilled with his newly acquired powers, there's nothing he'll shy away from, no red line he won't cross. His gleaming armor and perfectly coiffed hair make Ambrus look like a nobleman, but his origins couldn't be humbler. His life as a human was hard, full of pain and humiliations. Now, he's more than ready to settle the score with the world and all who spurned him. How these vampires fit into gameplay and player choices. The devs state the player can drain vampires and find tomes and teachers to learn vampiric powers. So major vampire encounters are both narrative and progression nodes. Vampire blood can heal or corrupt. Feeding, politics, and alliances are ethically loaded decisions that change NPC relations. So official recaps repeat that players can approach objectives in multiple ways, including confronting or manipulating vampiric lords, and the world is designed to react. That's the core of how vampires link to the sandbox narrative. What's still unknown, exact full hierarchy beyond the named lords, other vampire houses, ranks, or transnational vampiric orders, hasn't been exhaustively published. We have confirmed the major players and hints at a broader court. Full mechanical balance of the blood hunger system and long-term social consequences are demo-level details. Final depth will be clear only after extended play or launch. In summary, these vampires appear to be super fast, strong, able to use some form of witchcraft and blood magic, and able to create and/or tame other types of supernatural creatures. They are also highly intelligent and have a medieval style of hierarchy and rule. They are ruthless and seem to see humans as fodder or cattle. Also, it looks like they created a mix of pro-vampire society and religion focused on themselves as the center, the new gods of the world, so to speak. Rulers and objects of worship. For more information on the Blood of the Dawnwalker, hit the notification button because I will be following every news and updates on the game until launch and beyond. This is the Paladin signing off. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more. I will see you next time.